Welcome to QuantMinds International here in Vienna. I'm Joanna Simpson. Joining me now is Matt Napoli, Business Development at 1010 Data. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you.
And just tell me, how has the use of alternative data developed over the years?
Yeah, it's a funny term. I mean, I think over the next couple of years, the term alternative data will probably get dropped. But within that broad category, there's a lot of differential in terms of the development across asset classes. So, for example, consumer data in the US is one sector of alternative data that is much further along in terms of its development life cycle than, say, energy data. So there's big differences within the segment in terms of the evolution of the products themselves. And then also big differences in kind of who's adopting the different data sources. So systematic managers, many of whom are represented here today, were always the first kind of to the table in terms of working with that sort of data. And some longer focused managers might be considering this sort of data only now as opposed to 5 years ago.
So what are the latest trends in alternative data?
So I'd say that there's way more providers. So within some of the more developed sectors of alternative data like consumer data, there's way more sources. And it also creates a lot of headaches for, I think, managers to make decisions around which source to choose from. And we're seeing from our seat, we've been in the business for a while, some impact on the way in which managers want to consume the data. So with ever more optionality in terms of the source, there are a lot of companies that are coming up with solutions in terms of consolidating those different sources. And I think there's definitely going to be some consolidation in that space because it's becoming an increasing headache for managers to consume data sources of so many different formats and size and breadth and depth. So there's a real opportunity for someone to kind of come in and be the Bloomberg of alternative data. I'll say that term reluctantly. And
you said that the term alternative data may get dropped in the future. How do you see it developing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to come a time, if not already, where if you're operating certain types of strategies or trading certain asset classes, particularly in the US, and you're not using alternative data, it's the equivalent of not looking at fundamentals for a fundamental model. So I think that there's definitely a big difference in how important it is depending on the strategy, but it's not going to be long before, if you're not using some sort of alternative data, that you'll be missing out on a pretty big opportunity.
Matt Napoli from 1010 Data, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.